Hi, everybody. Old Guy here, and today's book is Gao Xingjiang's Soul Mountain. And sue me if I got the pronunciation incorrect. This is a long prose poem that in places just soars, but in others leaves you scratching your head, which is pretty much what you'd expect from a book that's admired by the glitterati and the literati, who believe the more abstruse and obscure the story, the better it must be. And this really gets obscure in places, believe me, but I liked it because it has an actual story to it. So what is this about? Well, it's about this guy who is never named, and you can be misled into thinking that there are actually two protagonists, but no, it's just one guy. And for sake of clarity, we'll call him Gao after the author, because this entire novel is autobiographical. So Gao is on a train from Beijing when he gets into a conversation with a fellow traveler and asks, "Hey, where are you going, bud?" And the fellow traveler says, "Oh, I'm going to Lingshan Mountain," which translates Soul Mountain. And Gao has never heard of it. So the guy across, the fellow traveler, draws him a map on a matchbook, hands it over, and it shows all these places on it that Gao has never heard of either. So he decides right then and there that he's going to go find Lingshan. So really, you're going to, on the spur of the moment, go into the wilds of southern China to look for a place you don't even think exists. Well, yeah, and Gao has much incentive to do just that because he has heard rumors he is about to be arrested and sent to some pretty nasty labor camps for his writings, which have offended the Chinese Communist Party. Might be a good time to go on a tour of hard-to-reach places and get lost, deliberately. Now, that's one Gao. The other Gao, who is actually the same Gao, is on the train because he has received a reprieve. 6 months earlier, he had been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and that's all she wrote, folks. But hold on, we're sorry, we made a mistake. You don't actually have cancer. So you can imagine the relief that Gao experienced when he got on that train to go find the life he thought he was losing, which is a true story. This misdiagnosis actually happened to Gao Xingjiang, and he was about to be arrested for his writings. Imagine writing a true story as if it's fiction. There is another character who is not named, a woman who Gao picks up at the very first town he stops at and accompanies him the rest of the trip. Or, as I suspect, is just one of many women he picks up in every single place he stops, and it's just easier to make it all look like one girl. That Gao is one randy dude. And there are some rather involved scenes, such as the search for a lost key, that just becomes epic. And an argument with the girl, or girls, or a current girlfriend, by the side of the river that any man who has ever had a crazy girlfriend will immediately recognize. Now be warned, this is a tough read with an odd structure. There is an I narrative, like I myself, and a you one. Now the I narrative is fairly straightforward. Gao traveling from town to town, passing himself off as a licensed journalist whose name is well enough known for him to suffer only a cursory examination, which is fortunate for him. In that form, there are fascinating anthropological and archaeological discussions as Gao goes from one obscure mountain tribe to another collecting folk songs. And the descriptions are just wonderful. The Yu narrative is Gao at his randiest and most metaphysical as he moves from rather involved evenings with the girl, or girls, into dream and meditative states that will make you go, huh? In this format, Gao tells fascinating fairy tales and legends to the girl, who needs to hear them so she won't be afraid. Given how scary some of these stories are, I'm wondering how effective that really was. Now, this is a translation by Mabel Lee, who simply can't help an MFA-level discussion in the preface of the I and the you and the we and we are all together, and oh my God, just skip over that. Gao lives in Paris and is obviously an accomplished linguist himself because he has translated Beckett and Ionesco. So I do not know how much of this translation is him and how much is Lee. But it is wonderful language, so you have Mabel Lee and Gao to thank for it. Now, Gao is a prolific writer of plays and poems and essays, and was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2000 for his body of work. And you have to read this slowly, not that you can help doing so. Some books set their own pace, and this one can't be rushed. Old guy here. See you later.